What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we got fella of Dreamshade. Thank you so much for your time today, man. It's great to have you here.
Great to be with you, man.
Yeah.
Happy to be with you.
Yep. So we have the brand new album coming out, which is titled "The Pale Blue Dot." Do you consider this just continuing where you left off after Vibrance, or do you think that this is almost kind of like a brand new start for Dreamshade in a way?
It is a brand new start, I would say, because it's still very different from Vibrant, but there is some Vibrant in it. I mean, of course, it's a mix between all of the records that we've done, plus more new things that you never heard from us. So there are some surprises.
Yep. Excellent. Because you released a lot of singles a couple of years prior to the release of this, from Question Everything to On My Own, and then we have some two new singles that are on the album. Could this serve as like a clear representation of what the entirety of the Pale Blue Dot will sound like?
I would say that yeah, it could be, because those four songs are pretty varied. Some are more metal in a way. Some are more I don't know, rock oriented maybe. But the point that we're trying to make is that it really doesn't matter what genre we're trying to play, because it always sounds Dreamshade because of the songwriting. That's what really defines us, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is like, as a diehard Dreamshade fan, I'd be able to tell what would be off of What Silence Hides, what would be off The Gift of Life, what would be off of Vibrant,
Of
and
course.
what would be off of this new album as well. So it's fair to say you like to take a new approach to the making of every album, right?
Definitely. I mean, I would never do the same record over and over, because it's just not the reason that I became an artist in the first place, I would say, because we never decided to be one type of metal band, not even a metal band. So we just write whatever feels great for that moment, and there it goes.
Yeah, because I remember, like, when I discovered Dreamshade, I really went in hard in your whole catalog, and to hear a song like Eternal off of What Silence Hides versus a song like Photographs off of The Gift of Life, followed by a song like It's Over, which I think has one of the best breakdowns ever in that intro, it almost seems like there is no rules for Dreamshade. It just sounds like Dreamshade, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we have no boundaries. We could do a reggae song if we want, because we know how to make it sound a Dreamshade anyway.
Hmm. Did you ever go into it with like a preconceived idea of what you want it to sound like, or is there kind of like a lot of improvising involved?
Improvising, no, not much. There is some, maybe with vocals we try different styles depending on the song, but mostly when we start having a couple of tracks, we decide if we're gonna do a record, or if we are just gonna go with the singles. So if those few songs somehow sound like they come from the same world, that's going to be a record.
Hmm.
And then from there, we take the next step, and that would be trying to keep the vibe of the record oscillating, because we really want to do everything differently during the record, because we want to keep it interesting for the listener. Maybe some listeners don't really know when we're trying to go somewhere, and they just process everything as it comes. But I would say that we decide where the listener is going.
Yeah, because I remember when I listened to Vibrant in 2016, and like, to have a song like It's Over as well as Dreamers Don't Sleep versus like a song like Don't Want to Go or something like that, it almost seems like there's many different emotions that were felt as well. Do you almost like look at every song as like a representation of what you and Kevin and everybody were feeling at that time?
Absolutely, absolutely. There are some songs that just came out after having some thoughts for years and never realizing it as a song, but maybe it comes back to your mind when you're in the studio, and you have some really cool riffs and you want to build from there. And sometime it just snaps, and and you go back in time with your head and you say, okay, I just wanted to do a song about that. So let's do it now, because you just need to ride that wave, you know. It's just a matter of minutes.
Yeah, because it also seems like lyrically, it almost seems like you approach the music from different angles as well. Like it almost seems like a song like "Consumed Future" had a very different meaning behind it versus a song like "Wanted Needs," which is my favorite Dreamshade song. Like it almost seems like there's
I love it.
Yeah, it almost seems like there's many different sources of inspiration as well, right?
Absolutely, because me and Kevin, we both write a lot of lyrics. For us, it's just really important for the project. We feel like our audience is very connected to us through the lyrics, so it's not just a matter of vibes and tunes and notes, but also it's a lot about words. So he comes up with a lot of lyrics, then I come up with a lot of lyrics, and we have this spectrum of topics that we can pick from and inspire one another. So we just sit there for days and stare at these lyrics and try to really squeeze the core meaning from each lyric.
Does the lyrics or maybe even a concept sometimes influence the direction of the music itself as well?
Absolutely. Especially on this record, I would say some of the songs are maybe there are a couple songs that could be considered a little bit easier music-wise, but that's because maybe they just started with the vocals. So sometimes I just have a few BPMs that I really would love to write songs on, because I know I can sing or he can sing really well on some type of tempo. So when we have a really cool idea with the lyrics and with the rhythm for the vocals, we can start from there without notes.
Wow, that's sometimes very difficult to do.
It is.
Aren't you or Kevin ever worried that you'll have like the best lyrics ever, but then they're always like one syllable over like the songs itself and just screws everything up?
It happened. It happened a lot. It's just a gamble, you know. You never know where you're gonna end with this type of things, and that's why we try so many different ways to get inspired. Honestly, and I have to say, this time with this record, it never happened so easily, because it all happened in a spectrum of 5 months. Songwriting to the finished recording. It's crazy. I mean, we're way slower than that usually, but we were so inspired. Every week, a song was completed, and we just felt like we could just keep going and write all the stuff. And that's what happened. We finished the record, and I continued to write. Now I have like 1,000 riffs that I don't know what to do with, but there will be other songs, of course.
A fifth Dreamshade album. Maybe we won't have to wait as long this time, right?
I think so. I think it's gonna be faster.
I hope so. One thing I've noticed about the Pale Blue Dot actually is because I'm interested in the theme, because every album I've noticed has like a visual. I've always loved the artwork as well. Like the What Silence Hides album artwork is so mysterious. The Gift of Life has like a real fairy tale oriented aspect behind it. I like the simplicity of the artwork and vibrant. And now with the Pale Blue Dot, it seems like there's almost kind of like a space oriented theme. So is there kind of like a concept behind the Pale Blue Dot as well that you're trying to convey as well?
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it concept, because it's not a real concept album. It's just a collection of the best songs that we had at that moment. And but yeah, absolutely, there is something that connects them all. And I would say it's just looking at ourselves from afar.
Mm-hmm.
So from a space perspective, just looking into Earth, and then discovering all of these things that we're talking about in the lyrics. So I can just put that easily like that, but honestly, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah.
But to be faster, I can go like that.
Yeah. Well, because it's funny because I've been listening to On My Own now for 2 years
Hmm.
and Question Everything for over a year now. So like I'm excited to see how much more context the songs have when I listen to it in a company with the rest of the songs on the album.
Right, right. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And you've always released singles very far ahead in advance of release as well, right? Like didn't you release Dreamers Don't Sleep as a single like maybe like a year and a half before Vibrant came out?
Yeah, correct. So uh, I knew this was coming because it's kind of weird. Um, we never had like a real timeline that made sense. We just went with the heart, and sometimes we have a song that we can just not wait to release. So Dreamers Don't Sleep just came like that in a snap in 2 days, and we were like, this is the right moment to release this. We cannot wait another year to complete the record, and the people are not hearing this. They just need this now, because it really depends on the lyrics and on the type of sounds that we're using. If it sounds old because you waited 1 year to release it, it's just, I don't know. We don't feel confident the same way.
Yeah. I feel like your songs capture a moment. So like the longer you sit on them or the longer that you either wait to release them or even as the longer it takes for you to finish them, it's going to be like harder to maintain that moment or maintain that spark.
Absolutely, man. And it's also, we always thought that if you release a song, at least a song, not even the album, but at least if you release a song in the right moment, that's gonna stay for a very long time. Because if you satisfy your listener in the right moment in their life or in the world's history, sometimes you just live the same moment with them. You share the same type of connection at the right time. That's gonna be a very lasting song, like Dreamers Don't Sleep.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because I feel like Dreamers Don't Sleep. I mean, that almost seems to be like the song that a lot of people, that a lot of Dreamshade fans seem to start off with. And like that music is so open to interpretation, but it also does have like a great, like, I feel like that song has a positive message and a very sad message at the same time.
That's true, absolutely, and that's why it's so melancholic. Can you say that?
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a word.
it is. It is. And if not, that's the name of the next album.
Well, you are right, definitely, because even writing it, since we write lyrics always, me and Kevin at the same time. Maybe I start a song and then he comes in with another verse and he shares his perspective of that same topic. That makes it very very relatable to more people because you already have two perspectives of the same thing.
But do you feel that maybe in order to make the song sound consistent, or to, like that you and Kevin almost kind of need to be in the same headspace, like emotionally, in order to like make the song flow? Like, or can you maybe write songs together when you're both in completely different states of mind?
We can do both, honestly. We did both in the past. We did it on this same album. I think he's very skilled. I love his ideas. He comes up with ideas in Italian. Then we can really share everything in Italian first, so that we lock a solid topic that we really want to share ideas to with, and then working together we make it work in English, trying to perfect it every time. And I feel like in this record we definitely did our best.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you were both very very inspired at this time. Does inspiration like come out of the blue sometimes, or do you and Kevin like kind of need to be in a specific place? Like, do you have a usual realm that you get creative in?
Um, for each album, it really happened in a very different way. So I cannot say that there is a formula because it's not true. And the only thing I can say about this, because it's really weird, it's a really transcendent experience when you are in that headspace and you're projected for writing. I feel like you just have to stop everything else that you're doing and start doing this. Because when you have a really strong idea, from that moment on, if you really can catch that moment and start working at the right time, then from there it's like a seed. Everything is coming from there. So you can just keep on going and write more stuff, and one thing inspires the next. That's what happened with this new album. But with Vibrant, it took so much longer as a process. We had a different record label. It was an American label. And we just felt like, let's try something completely new for ourselves and that we've never done before. Let's just try and get inspired in a different way. So we drew from a lot of different types of music and always tried only things that we were not comfortable doing, just because of fun.
And
we wanted to have fun.
And I know that the music is open to interpretation, but I need to know this because I analyzed the Dreamshade lyrics. In the song "It's Over," before that breakdown, when Kevin says, "I wrote this song for you," who was that song particularly for?
So Kevin had a very, very weird relationship years ago with this kind of crazy girl that really hurt him emotionally and also physically. And it's now we can laugh, but at the time it was really a really weird experience because he was so in love with this girl, and we all couldn't believe how mistreated was him by that same girl. So it was just a weird experience. And when he realized all of the things that were happening when they were together, this just came out so quickly, like he has been holding all of those emotions for years, and then suddenly exploded.
Yeah, and that breakdown totally signifies that. It seems like you were holding back so much, that slight little build up, and then that breakdown kicks in.
Absolutely.
And just it was amazing. It was like that I consider to be the most underrated breakdown in the style that you play. And like with the songwriting that comes from the gift of the songwriting that comes in the gift of life, as well as What Silence Hides, because I feel like What Silence Hides was very atmospheric. Like I still love the keyboard intro to a song like Reviving Me and stuff. So like, was there like also like a certain emotion that you were channeling into those albums as well?
Yes. So What Silence Hides was a very different experience because it was actually our first full-length record in a studio. First time in a professional studio. We were just kids. Some of us were underage, and we had literally no money. I was living in the studio for months with like $3 a day. It was crazy. But we just signed to Spinefarm Records and Universal Music. So it was a big deal because we were kids. And then we stayed in the studio for months. We already had written, I don't know, like 5 or 6 songs before that in a demo stage. But we had another singer for that record, and he could just scream. We were coming from a melodic death metal world.
That EP
going into
that EP was like that sounded like At the Gates or Children of Bodom.
Right. Yeah. It was a total Children of Bodom worship, man. That's why we started playing. So Children of Bodom was the first band that actually made me think, okay, I want to stop everything else. I want to start playing guitar. I don't know, writing songs. I didn't even know how to start because I never did that before. But then we did the EP, then we did the first record, and we had this screaming guy. He's called Iko, very, very good friend of us. But we never thought about clean singing because we were coming from a different type of metal world. And so we were just growing, making music, but we never decided what we want to sound like. So keyboards in that record substitutes the melodic vocals to me. So all of that atmospheric, pads that are back and the piano and everything is just something that you can sing to. We wanted something because all the riffs, the guitar riffs and the drumming is very intricate and difficult, but at the same time we wanted the listener to kind of have a mellow listening time.
Yeah.
So you have something to hold on to, and that keeps you going with towards the end of the song.
Interesting. And I'm glad you kept the pianos for The Gift of Life, because I almost feel like that was an integral sound of that record. What we heard in Wants and Needs or Consumed Future or even The Gift of Life, the title track, it almost seems like piano is a very important instrument. Is there do you or any of the other members have a background in theory or classical music? Because I could easily see I just picture Mozart or Beethoven composing some of those solos.
We wrote those parts first on guitar. I mean, we all studied music before doing that record, and at the time we had a keyboard player in the first record, in What Silence Hides. So he would play the stuff that me and Rocco were writing, and after that we kept that same style without the pianist, but we tried to sample it. So we kept that style. We modernized it because there is no more neoclassical stuff in The Gift of Life, because we felt like we already did that. That's the sound of the previous record. Now we want to do something else. We want to completely transition from one genre to another, but still keeping that very Dreamshade signature songwriting style. So how did we do? We kept piano. We changed all of the sounds, and we kept on writing. Then we got another singer, which is Kevin, and that changed the whole sound of the band.
Wow. And lo and behold, now look where you are 3 albums later.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. And
it's crazy.
It really is crazy. And it's fair to say that every album is a representation or a self-portrait of who you are at the same time, right?
Absolutely.
And it represents, because What Silence Hides feels like there is almost kind of that underground or raw innocence, if you will. The Gift of Life almost seems like a mold was broken. Vibrance had an experimental stepping outside of the comfort zone. And the Pale Blue Dot, I mean, almost kind of looking at the imagery and stuff like that, I almost feel like it's a very appropriate record for the times that we're in.
Oh yeah. I mean, I really didn't feel this good about a record since The Gift of Life, because it really feels like we did whatever the fuck we wanted. And it was such a fun experience. I cannot put it differently. It's just, we had a lot of fun. It was so quick, and everything sounded already so good in the demo stage that we went to the studio knowing that it was at least for us, maybe it sucks for you, I don't know, but we knew that every song was so special as a standalone already.
Yeah. And that kind of leads me, kind of concluding this in a way, but also you played with Darkest Hour recently and jammed with them. Did maybe working with them influence you as well for your style or playing?
Oh, well, they already influenced me when I was a kid, because for me they were one of my biggest guitar and lyrics inspirations when I was a kid. because I discovered Darkest Hour 1 year after discovering Children of Bodom. So, and I was coming from a punk rock world before that. So Darkest Hour were the perfect bridge between punk and metal to me. And that just sounded so right to my ears. And then I started playing that type of style because I already started 1 year prior to that playing, Swedish stuff, Finnish stuff, which have that type of guitar style, string skipping and everything. And it just sounded perfect to me. So I wouldn't say that touring with them influenced my songwriting, but of course it influenced me as a person and as a whole experience of being a musician and being a songwriter and being on the road with them and having two bands. And it's just two different worlds, but at the same time, we all want the same thing. Yeah. And it's just so right to me.
Now, this brings me to my final question, and I probably would be asking this in a bit of a different tone if we weren't in the midst of a pandemic right now. But when in the hell would you come to the United States?
For touring?
Yeah.
Dude, that's been our dream for 10 fucking years. Honestly. It's just, we have no context there. We have nobody that handles our shows there. We don't have a booking agency. We've been looking for years to connect with somebody that would believe in the project at least, or help us out, trying to have an agent there. And I'm sure we can find somebody because most of our audience is from the States. So of course there is somebody that is an agent that maybe likes Dreamshade. So I'm asking you the question back. When are we coming to the United States? Do you know somebody that can help us?
Excuse me, I'm going to go research on how one gets into the whole booking agency business, and then you'll be the first band I book. No, because, I'm also surprised, though, that maybe like a band like Parkway Drive or Killswitch Engage even may have not have brought you on the road. I think or Devil Wears Prada or something like that. I think that would be like a great show. There definitely is like a market.
Absolutely.
And before the world ended last year, While She Sleeps came to the U.S. for their first U.S. headlining tour. And
wow.
they killed it. And I thought, wow, Parkway Drive kind of brought them on their first U.S. tour. I thought maybe they could bring a band on their first U.S. tour as well. So when they said we're touring the U.S., full lineup coming soon, I'm like, please be Dreamshade, please be Dreamshade. And I don't know if the guys in Zealand.
Dude,
I don't know if the guys in.
I don't know if they know.
You were saying?
I'm sorry. I don't know if the guys know Dreamshade. Mm-hmm. I mean, but I would totally go with them because I love While She Sleeps. I think that it would be such a great match, and the shows would be really interesting in my opinion. But you also told me about Killswitch Engage.
Yeah,
we toured with them, but in Asia. We never did
really?
the US tour.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well,
but I think I've been in contact with some of them when they were coming to Europe 2 years ago to support them, but then it never happened, and that sucks because that one would be a really great match too.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know if the guys in Zealand Ardor passed my message on to you guys because oh,
that was you.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they did, man. They're so great. They're crazy.
Every band I've interviewed from Switzerland, I also interviewed Elevite, and I asked if have you heard of Dreamshade? Maybe you could tell them to get over to the States one day. So
yeah, I mean, we played with Helveti 3 or 4 times, I guess.
Oh, really?
Or maybe 2 or 3 times. Yeah, they're great. I mean, they're really, really big in Switzerland and also in the rest of the world.
Is there?
I think that would also work as a match.
Definitely. I feel like you can play with a variety of different bands. Like maybe not like a Morbid Angel or a Watain tour so much, but I could honestly see you on a Killswitch Engage or an All That Remains. tour, but I could also see you with like maybe a band like Sirenia or Nightwish. Even I feel like there's like a lot of symphonic elements that I think you do cultivate like a lot of different genres into your style.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's so versatile, and then we can also adapt the set list to each show depending who you're playing with,
Yeah,
because we have so many different style of songs, and it's yeah, that would be easy for us, honestly.
yeah.
But it's just the connection that we don't have because we come from a very unknown place. It's a very small town. There are no bands that actually tour the world here, so it's just
First time for
there is
everything,
no
though.
there is no major city that we can use to amplify our project. So that's why it's been so hard and it's been so long for us to actually come out there and records and have a record deal and tour many countries. It's been very hard, but we did everything by ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and kind of like what you were saying with adjusting the set list, like if you're playing with a band like At the Gates, you have to play all of What Silence Hides. If you're touring with Killswitch Engage, all of The Gift of Life. If you're touring with I Prevail, all of Vibrance, and I'm excited to see what the Pale Blue
Right.
Dot opens up. So
That's gonna be a surprise, I guess.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. Honestly,
Yeah.
that would
So
be great.
Yeah.
I would love to tour with them.
yeah, and I would just one day I have to see you play live. I'll travel to Switzerland to make it happen, if anything. So, before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. It was really a pleasure to chat with you. And for those of you watching, yeah, there was some technical difficulties. I actually got a notification where it said right above your eyes, it was like censoring your eyes, that my internet connection was low. So,
No,
no, it only happened twice for like 2 seconds. So it actually,
no worries, no worries.
so it makes it more organic. This is the internet's way of
Absolutely.
an organic interview. Is there just is there just anything else that you would like to promote with the release of the Pale Blue Dot? Maybe a live stream performance or something like that, and of course some new merch as well. We could be expecting, right?
So, yes, today is a special day because a new song just came out,
Which is
and it's
badass.
called Shanghai Nights. Okay, you already checked out?
Yeah, I didn't want
And,
to try to butcher pronouncing it before, so I just talked about the other singles.
That's smart. That's smart. Shanghai Nights.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for
And,
releasing 3 other singles before that one.
And right, and also the new vinyls, the limited vinyls, just came in today, and it was the first time that we actually saw them, and they are really beautiful, really beautiful. The art is crazy. The manufacturer is amazing, and they are limited to only 300 copies. So if anybody out there is a fan of vinyls, you should really have this one because it's a piece of art.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll check that out. Thank you so much, fella. It's great to be able to chat with you and finally make this happen. Everybody, we are here with fella of Dreamshade, the Pale Blue Dot, coming out this spring. Pick it up. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We will see you next time.